Buyers are always looking for a house that's been well cared for and shows well, but they're also always keeping an eye out for red flags. So today we're going to be talking about what some of those red flags are and how they can be avoided. I'm Danielle Waldera, a realtor here in Harford County, Maryland, and I am not a red flag. I think it's funny that buyers notice a lot of like decor. It's so easy for me to look past. So sometimes I'm like, who cares? Maybe they like this wallpaper and, vintage style or whatever, right? But buyers really notice decor and they will hone in on it. We've walked into houses that are there's Lego people that live there, like people who are really into Legos, right? And they've got a lot of Lego, I don't even know what they're called, Lego statues and Lego things. But these Lego things, they get really intricate and big, and anyways, there's Legos all over the place, right? And that's their decor, literally, everything. And it's just funny to me how much buyers will focus and talk about it when they should be focusing on the structure of the house and the type of flooring, but they're like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, it'll be gone. It's going to be gone. Don't think anything of it. Don't think anything of the paint color. Don't think anything of the, decoupage over on the table. Don't think anything of the, weird drapes or whatever, right? Just focus on the house. But it's hard for them to focus on the house because they're so distracted by the decor sometimes. If a buyer notices one issue, their mind can sometimes automatically trigger into something much greater. For example, in rainy season here in Maryland, we get ants. Ants are common in houses, and it looks kind of scary because there can be a lot of them, and they walk in these little trails, and it can look a little scary. They're just ants. It's easy to take care of. It's common here. They're coming in from the rain. But sometimes buyers will be like, oh my gosh, there's an ant problem. There's probably termites. There's probably rats here. It goes from ants to, cat-sized rats in 6 seconds flat, when you don't have any evidence of that. There's no evidence of cat-sized rats living around here. Just ants. Just ants. Instant buyer concern can come from a lot of things, but one of the most prominent concerns I see is moisture concerns. So you see stains in the ceiling, instant concern. Where did that stain come from? Is it active? How long has it been there? What caused it? Did you fix it? Did you fix it right? Did you hire a contractor to fix it? All of those questions come from a tiny little stain in the ceiling. Moisture is the enemy for really everything in a house. So stains in ceilings, moisture smells in basements, moisture mildew smells in basements. If people are running a dehumidifier, where is that smell coming from? Again, why are they running a dehumidifier? Is there mold here? Should I be concerned? Places of moisture, so bathrooms. When bathrooms can get a little mildewy and moldy too, right? It happens. That's a place of moisture. But it'll cause a lot of red flags and a lot of concerns for a buyer. If you didn't recaulk your tub, which can get a little bit moldy and mildewy sometimes, if you didn't do that before listing your house, a buyer might think there's a mold problem, when really it's a super common problem in bathrooms because there's moisture in there happening all the time. It's all around you. Maybe you need a stronger exhaust fan. Maybe it's something so simple, but to a buyer, moisture equals mold, which is a problem. If a buyer thinks that you haven't kept up with the house or you haven't controlled the moisture issues, their mind might spiral into, well, what else is here that you haven't taken care of that I can't see today? And their mind isn't really thinking towards the next step, right? Because the next step after you go under contract is inspections, and all of that will be fully vetted out, right? We all want immediate gratification, right? That's human nature. So they want to know now. They want to know now, what else haven't you done? If I open up that electrical panel, is there corrosion in there? Are you having moisture problems in there? Is the moisture and mildew in the basement affecting your panel, affecting your lumber, affecting, your beams? Like, their minds can spiral really out of control very quickly. But the reality is every house has issues, even new construction. Every house. I don't care if you just built this house and finished last week. Every house has issues. So it really just depends on what the buyer's tolerance is, what they've been through in their past life. Like if they have an issue in their past life from mold or from a leak or from ants in the house that, like, I don't know, ate up their cat or something. Something happened to them, right? That like caused them to like panic about this one issue. So their mind is going to immediately go to that place of panic, even though whatever's happening could be, everything is fixable. Really, everything is fixable. Okay, the power of DIY is with you, but you gotta DIY all the way through, folks. So when you decide to replace your floors, you have to not just replace your floors, okay? You have to replace your floors and your trim and your shoe molding, and then you have to paint all of those things, right? And when you're painting them, you've got to put that putty in the corners, okay? So like DIY is great if you're going to do it from 0 to 100. The problem is people do it from 0 to 90. And then they're like, look how much better this looks. I'm done. On to the next DIY. And then they do the next DIY from 0 to 90. And then everything ends up 10% less finished than it's supposed to be. And it's like, lots of little things. Lots of little things add up to lots of big things. If you're going to DIY, I think you should. I love that. I love that for you. I'm a DIYer. I think you should watch YouTube and finish it completely. Maybe have your friend over to walk into the space because your friend will judge you. And your friend will be like, you didn't paint this molding. And it's like off color, right? So like have someone else come into the space to tell you what they're thinking because you in your own space have your own biased opinions about what the space used to look like and what it looks like now. So you're thinking like, we're good, when like we might not be good. Just button up the details, right? It's all in the details. Make sure around your sink, around your countertop is nice and caulked and sealed. Make sure around your tub is nice and freshly caulked and sealed. Make sure your trim is looking bright, maybe a little bit of fresh paint on the trim. Make sure your ceiling fans and ceiling light fixtures are all cleaned and dusted and, Windex and looking shiny. Make sure all your light bulbs are working and not out. Make sure they're all the same shade of light, like tone of light. These little things go a long way. They make the house look consistent. They make the house look clean. They make the house feel cohesive. That's a big deal. When a buyer walks in, even it's so silly, but like if your trim wasn't painted and it looks dirty and you're missing a light bulb is out in your foyer light and that's the first thing that they think, they walk in and now it's dim and it looks a little dirty, and like those things are weekend warrior projects. You can weekend warrior your house into being totally sellable very easily. I'm not saying it's fun, but it's worth it because you want your money. Get your money and do the work that it takes to get that money because it's not that much usually. It's not that much work. It's very doable. I have definitely seen buyers completely change their opinion because of one red flag. I had a buyer recently who was with another realtor before me and they had a bad experience. And the house that they had gone under contract with previously had a lot of problems. When that contract ended, they ended up severing their relationship with that realtor and going with me. And when I got them under contract, the inspector was opening up the downstairs fireplace and he pulled out a snake skin from the downstairs fireplace, which meant that at one point there was a snake in there. And I watched my buyer visibly back up, like take a few steps back. And I was like, oh gosh. I was like, are you okay? What's going on? And I made a joke about it that at least they're not going to have any mice because the snake will eat the mice. But they didn't think that was funny, which is fine. But it was in a wooded area and we talked through it and there are things that we could have asked the seller to do to help, mitigate any pest or rodents, coming into the house, to make sure that that didn't happen again. But sometimes based on what a buyer has been through before, something that might not affect you that much affects them. So for this buyer, a snake skin was a big deal. And a snake being anywhere in or near the house was a problem. It might not be a problem for me, but it was a problem for them. So we all just kind of need to understand and be open and gracious with each other about where we're coming from in life and what our past living experiences were, and what that means to someone else. So, just having a conversation about why they were freaked out by that, what had happened in the past, and what we can do to fix it going forward so that they feel totally comfortable in the home, because that's the most important thing. If I were to prepare my buyer today on what to expect when we go out to showings tomorrow, I would tell them to keep an open mind. I do tell them to keep an open mind, to know that everyone lives differently. You can't expect every house to be vacant and flipped, right, and completely staged and gorgeous. You can't expect that out of every home. There are sellers that are living in their homes. There are sellers that are living heavily in their homes with lots of people and animals, and it doesn't make their home less attractive. It just might be harder to see. It just might take more time and diligence to look through some of those distractions and see truly what you're looking for in your home. But don't be distracted by the perfectly painted walls and the staged furniture. Don't let those things distract you as a buyer. Really look through and spend time in a room, not focusing on the decor, not focusing on the clutter, not focusing on the things that will be gone by the time you move in, and focus on the bones and the room structure and the layout. Focus on the things that are there that are going to affect you when you move in. And I know it's easier said than done, and everyone says they're fully capable of doing it, but it's hard. You walk into a space, it smells funny. There's stuff all over the place. And the house we just came from is completely vacant, smelling like a bed of roses, and it's staged. And you want to love that more, but try really hard just to give yourself as a buyer the opportunity to fall in love with the house that's truly right for you, not the house that's just showing better on paper. Thanks for watching. If you learned a little bit today and liked what you saw, like, comment, share, and continue and stay with me for the next video.